200 fun facts that'll actually make your life better. 41. Honeybees can recognize human faces. Whereas before it was thought that only large-brained mammals could distinguish faces, but honeybees can do this as well. They see faces in a compilation of 5,000 individual images, kind of like pixels. 42. The Battle of Hastings didn't take place in Hastings. The famous Battle of Hastings actually took place 7 miles from Hastings in a town that is today known as Bottier. Fitting, right? 43. While trying to find a cure for AIDS, the Mayo Clinic made glow-in-the-dark cats. This is due to their use of specific protein that was fluorescent green. They used this protein to find out if their tests worked. If the animal glowed, the outcome was successful. 44. A swarm of 20,000 bees followed a car for 2 days because their queen was stuck inside. When the car parked, the thousands of bees swarmed onto the car and had to be taken off by beekeepers. The next day, the bees were back on the car because the queen was still inside and the swarm had to be taken off again. 45. Nearly 3% of the ice in Antarctic glaciers is penguin urine. Because the temperature in the Antarctic is well below zero, the urine can't evaporate and just combines with the glaciers. 46. Bob Dylan's real name is Robert Zimmerman. Yep, his full name is Robert Allen Zimmerman. He started going by Bob Dylan early on in his career for no real reason. Simply because he wanted to. 47. A crocodile can't poke its tongue out. Because their tongues are attached to the roof of their mouths, crocodiles cannot stick their tongues out, although their very similar counterparts, alligators, can. 48. Sea otters hold hands when they sleep so they don't drift away from each other. This is a method mostly used by a mother and her pup to prevent them from separating. Other than holding hands, they may also wrap themselves in kelp to keep from drifting away. 49. A small child could swim through the veins of a blue whale. If you consider how large a blue whale's heart is the size of a small car, it's no surprise that a small child, around 3 to 4 years old, could swim through the massive veins of a blue whale. 50. Bin Laden's death was announced on 1st of May 2011. Hitler's death was announced on 1st of May 1945. Both of these cruel leaders' deaths were announced on the same day, but due to the time difference, Bin Laden actually died on May 2nd. The announcement was made in the US, which was hours enough ahead to still be May 1st. 51. J.K. Rowling chose the unusual name Hermione so young girls wouldn't be teased for being nerdy. The name Hermione came from Shakespeare's A Winter's Tale. Rowling says when she chose the name, she didn't want a lot of fairly hard-working little girls to be teased if ever the book was published. 52. Hewlett-Packard's, also known as HP name was decided in a coin toss in 1939. The name was always going to be a hyphenation of the two founders' last names, so in order to decide between Hewlett-Packard and Packard-Hewlett, they flipped a coin. 53. There is a total of 1,710 steps in the Eiffel Tower. Standing 108 stories tall, there are 1,710 steps to get to the top of the Eiffel Tower. However, guests are only allowed to climb the stairs until the first platform. From there, they must take a lift to the top. 54. The Pokémon Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are based off of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. The third Pokémon of the Hitmons is also named after a martial artist. Hitmontop is named after a lesser-known martial artist, Larry Top. 55. A woman tried to commit suicide by jumping of the Empire State Building. She jumped from the 86th floor but was blown back onto the 85th floor by a gust of wind. Standing almost 1,500 feet tall, there's no way anyone could survive that fall. However, when Elvira Adams tried to kill herself by jumping, a strong gust of wind blew her to the floor below. The worst injury she sustained was a fractured hip. 56. Pirates wore earrings because they believed it improved their eyesight. Along with many other reasons. Due to superstitions, they thought it protected them from bad eyesight, seasickness, and drowning. 57. Los Angeles's full name is El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles de Porciuncula. The original name was quite a mouthful. It translates to Town on Our Lady the Queen of Angeles of the River Porciuncula. Now, Los Angeles is just the Angeles. 58. The Twitter bird actually has a name, Larry. The name comes from Larry Bird, who is a famous Hall of Fame basketball player. The species of Larry the bird still remains a secret. 59. Octopuses have 4 pairs of arms. The 6 of an octopus tentacles serve as arms, while the other 2 are their legs. They use 6 tentacles just to eat. 60. In the popular sitcom, Parks and Recreation, The writers had no idea Nick Offerman was a talented saxophone player when they wrote the Duke Silver plot line. Nick Offerman has played the saxophone his whole life, so when the writer wrote about his character being a secret jazz musician, the coincidence was perfect.